This episode, we got Dricus Du Plessis. He's going to be talking about his fight with Strickland. Which one? Probably both. We're going to break down UFC 296, what his thoughts are, his fighting, and a little bit about South African culture. Tune in, Coaching the Casual.
You got to see one of my big struggles, Dricus, is that Ramsey trying to pronounce anybody's name is just
so hard.
You can't do it by yours. We took about 6 takes trying to get your name right.
Hey, at least he's not a Dagestani. Those ones I just get wrong.
We just said, oh, our buddy here. But
well, I have to say, I mean, it took Dana. I think Dana pronounced my name right for the very first time.
Yeah.
When he announced that I'm fighting Strickland for the belt. even when he announced, he got closer every time he said it. Even then, if you didn't know now, you know I wasn't there twice. Wrecked it. I didn't even know he was talking about me. I watched it. Yeah. Oh, he's talking about me.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, as the fight with Whittaker came about, he almost got it, but didn't get it. And then with the title fight, I think people were like, listen, he's fighting for the title. This is his name. Practice it.
Practice it. I just practiced 30 times.
I was going to say, how much did he practice? But I got.
Well, you practiced just in front of the mic.
Yeah. I mean, now I was practicing the whole time, actually. Since we found out you've been coming up.
A hard sweat.
I literally was sweating through my shirt.
Man, you overthought because you absolutely wrecked it.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to get it wrong and then all of a sudden have you jump across the chair and kick my ass,
Man, I'm good.
Hell yeah.
So last night, I mean, we're at the fights, and of course, some booze fest started happening, the Cohen main. All of a sudden, we look over, and we see you and Strickland,
it was even way earlier than that. It was like right after the Bryce fight, right?
Yeah.
I think so. It was before the co-main and
yeah, that's true.
I think it was before the Paddy fight.
Yeah, that's right. Right after Bryce and right before Paddy and Tony.
Yes.
That's all people were talking about. We were like up in the Budweiser lounge or whatever. And people are like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was on social media this morning when I woke up, and it looks like there wasn't even an event last night. The only thing I see is everybody, there was, 23,000 people showed up to watch me and Sean Strickland fight for like 10 seconds.
Dude, you've been calling out, you're like, dude, those punches were nothing. If that's what it's going to be, then let's just fight now.
Yeah, man, I mean, what's cool about it is, the big thing about fighting somebody is, the unknown. You don't know how hard this guy hits, how strong he is. He now knows how strong I am, and I now know how he hits, and I understand. I said, I understand the finish rate. Being 33%.
I saw that tweet. Why he has a finish rate of like 20-30%. You hit like a girl.
Well, how did it get kicked up? Because the thing is, everybody's kind of coming in on Strickland because Strickland talks so much shit about everybody. Ian Gary came after O'Malley. He came after what's his name for Izzy for feeding his hand.
Oh yeah.
Well, I do see his point when it comes to Izzy.
Yeah. You're not into jerking dogs off?
No, it's just not my thing.
Yeah, not mine.
To each their own.
To each their own, and that's the thing with the Ian Gary thing, to each their own. Yeah, but, Izzy wants to we're in America, man. Do what you want.
You can't say, like, you can't just go off on everybody and then somebody says something back to you and you get pissy. You can't pick the topic if you'll go after everybody for anything.
100%. I mean, with me and Strickland, we met each other once or twice before this whole thing, even before, like, when I fought Whittaker, because he said, I remember that week, he said in the press that Whittaker is absolutely going to smoke me, and, well, can't blame, everybody said that, but then we met on the day, because that was a week before he fought, when he fought Abus at Apex, and that morning I was in the PI training, and we walked past each other, and I was like, hey, yesterday you talked shit about me.
What's up, then?
And we were standing, like, in the lobby, and he said, listen, man, it's just like, man, good luck to you. It was nothing personal, it's just, and, I didn't take it personal. I was like, okay, cool. And he was a very nice guy, a cool dude.
Yeah.
I respect him as a fighter, obviously, and as a guy, like, we met once or twice. He's a cool guy. So when we came to the press, you're dealing with Sean Strickland. He doesn't really banter one person per se. He just rants.
Yeah.
About everything.
Everybody and everything.
So I was ready for that. And then, I'm not a guy that makes up fake beef. I just don't do it. I see that a lot.
Keep the energy.
It's a little bit, it's cringy for me. So, I mean, if there's gonna be beef, there's beef.
Yeah.
If there's gonna be banter, I'm all for it. I like it. It's good. But it's friendly banter. It's it's sharp. It's funny. And with me and Sean, I was expecting that. And then, I try to be myself the whole time. If you're gonna come at me, I'll come at you. But if there's nothing there, then there's nothing.
Yeah.
And it started out quite civil, and I think he wanted the attention of the crowd because that is his MO. That's how
Yeah.
he gets the people excited, like bashing his opponents. And it was chilled, and I feel like, I would say, halfway through the press conference, he felt like the attention is not where it needs to
Yeah,
be.
so that's
Yeah.
And he said, well, we're going to fight. We don't need to be friends, so fuck you. And he just went at it. I said, oh, well, let's go.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is a big mental game. This whole fight thing is a mental game for me. That's all fun and games, but at the end of the day, that's part of the fight. What happens in that press conference, that's a fight before the fight, just like the weigh-in is.
And you have to win it.
100%. And there's nothing he could possibly say to throw me off. And I said, cool, I'm going to start chipping away and see what I get, because he looks like a guy that he's not going to be easily triggered, because, like you said, he dishes it out. So you
think he'd have the thickest
he'd have
skin,
the thickest skin. And the first thing I said, and that was only the beginning. He can be so glad it was the end. I had so much more to go.
Oh my God.
I was so ready for that. And that was the first thing I said, this guy. And I thought, oh, he's acting like this. And then I saw he was like
shaking.
And I'm like, oh, I really got you. Okay. And
It was like level
couldn't
one
believe
of the trash bag.
And because I was like, well, I did all this homework and I did all this preparation for this, and now first thing I say is, like, come on.
You have a
like
bunch of
doing a
other
whole fight, punching the guy one shot.
First round knockout.
Yeah.
Like, damn it, I've trained for 5 rounds, you bastard.
But and then obviously last night it happened. So we walk in to the.
I think they put you together near each other on purpose, bro.
No, well, I don't think so.
I saw
but-
Dana say,
He was
like,
like, who's the dumb shit who
Well,
did
that was me.
Dana came to me afterwards, and I'll get to that. We walk in, and I look at my ticket. So, this is my first time sitting cage side. So obviously, I live in South Africa, so I don't come to all the events. And I said, okay, and this is your row C, seat number 4, 5, whatever. And I go, okay, and I start looking because I see that's Sean Strickland over there. All the fighters sitting there. So I'm assuming, they're going to go.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, no, you're on that side.
oh my God.
And I immediately realized, like, he's in row A, then B, and then C, meaning we are sitting
2 rows.
like this
Literally,
far away
yeah,
from
like
each
this
other.
close to each
But
other.
literally,
so far.
we even had the same seat number. So he's literally sitting right in front of me.
Dude, that's gotta be set up.
gotta be on purpose,
My teammate goes, I know what's going to happen here.
I saw him, he was the bald guy with the glasses on, right?
No. That was the guy that was just here, Henny. Yeah, teammate, coach, yeah. He
Okay.
had the hat on,
Yeah.
and he goes, I know you. This is going to be...
This is trouble.
He's like, this is trouble waiting to happen. I said, bro, I'm not going to get into a fight at the UFC. Like, I'm a professional.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
not
a
gonna
professional.
happen.
I'm just gonna talk
I'm
shit.
not gonna- I said, yes, I am going to talk shit. That you better know. But, I'm not going to start a fight.
Yeah.
And he goes,
He just doesn't buy
He just knows it. He's like,
he knows it's
okay.
going to get spilled. It's
Yeah,
like,
and we go, and then obviously they tell me the cameras are going to be on you guys now, and I obviously know. Listen, this is his domain. The crowd's definitely booing me.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just went, cool. I'm just going to join them with the boos
Yeah.
and boo him. Like, like, cool, I'm with you guys. I'm booing him too. And as I did it, because you could see him on the screen too, I just saw he was so irritated.
got
Then
so
he turned
pissed.
around and he did the whole gun thing, and I went, wow. And he turned back around. I could see that he was just so frustrated. And I said, listen, even with that gun, you're missing. Even with the gun, you're losing that fight.
Hell yeah.
And he kind of looked around and I said, yeah, look in front of you before I beat your ass.
Oh my God.
No, just kidding. And he turned around and Gilbert Burns' kid
Yeah, right there.
was right there. And then Alex Matoja's wife,
Yeah.
kids were, and he leaned over to say something. And I was like, okay, cool.
So
I know this might go down. I just took Gilbert's kid and I said, sorry, kids.
Yeah.
And he went to Toja's kids in. It was almost very similar, like, move out of the way. And I moved these 2 chairs and there was one chair between us. And I said, well, come on then.
Yeah.
Come on then. And,
What was the lie?
and then we were looking at each other and it almost like he said something, I said something. And it was almost like, okay, that's the end of the storm. And I turned, but still looking at him, and he turned away, and then he just jumped. Because it was like, I thought it was over, and he just jumped. I was like, okay, here we go. And then
So
we get
you
into
both were like, move the kids out. Because
Yeah.
you see the video of like, Strickland.
That'll be
moving
bad, man,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
there's kids involved.
Yeah, the kid. I mean, though they're Gilbert Burns
yeah,
kids.
they're
They might be
Burns
throwing
kids.
arm bars up
They're like,
too.
let's
Like,
go,
yeah,
let's
like
go.
let's go.
Well, and it was crazy because we were in between a lot of fighters, so it was so crazy the vibe after the whole thing happened.
Yeah.
Usually, if you're in a social setting like that, and something like that happens, some people are crying. People are going, you just see the fighters. Everyone is so used to this.
You can see a picture of Volkanovski standing up on a chair and just
Trying to
smiling.
watch.
He was so happy.
Bilal was right there too. They're looking. You just see all the fighters smiling, like, yeah, let's
kick
get
his ass.
it.
Yeah, Michael Chandler, great guy. I've trained with him quite a few times down in South Florida, and he was sitting there. He's like, yes, yes, man, we get it. We got to fight. Let's go.
Well, I mean, you guys has probably sold another 500,000 pay-per-views right there.
Yeah,
But
probably,
the
man,
beautiful
well.
part was like, it wasn't even for the sale. It was real beef, and you
Yeah.
get more money for it.
Well, and the crazy thing is we came into this thing without any beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously the press conference happened, and you got triggered.
The thing is,
here we are.
Yeah.
How do you feel the fight in the stands went? Did he land anything? You land something?
So it was a great fight. 100%. Like I said, I'm 5-0. I was 5-0 in the
you're
T-Mobile.
6-0.
I'm 6-0 now.
Undefeated in the
yeah.
UFC,
They should at
baby.
least give you the interim belt, dude.
Because
the hell?
what happened was, obviously, when he came over the chair, like, there's only one way to go. I'm either going that way or we are falling backwards, and
Yeah.
I ain't letting that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was on top, I guess. I just got his legs, got the
Dumped
takedown.
him.
As I was on him, I got a few in.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, we got separated.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you're
was like-
broken up. So
Yeah, so,
fast.
I mean, I felt some punches. He definitely landed some shots, like you're on top of it, because he was like,
like trying to
But
elbow
I mean,
you,
that
yeah.
was good. It was cool.
Yeah.
kind of fun. It's like kind of funny because as a fighter, I mean, do you love fighting?
I love fighting.
And fighting's fun, right?
Fighting's the
But
funnest thing.
fighting real fights is better than fighting some, like in the cage is fun, but like,
There's some build up. There was
Yeah.
no build up to this. It was like, what? Okay, here we go.
yeah, and it's like the best adrenaline, I think,
We just did a bunch of work with Mike Perry because they had bare knuckle out in Utah, and they were all talking about like bare knuckle feels so much more natural because I'm in a fight now.
You're
you
in
know
a
what I mean?
fight.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess he knows a lot more about like these kind of situations than I do.
yeah, seriously. Well, like you were saying earlier in South Africa, so everyone afterwards is like, oh, don't press charges. Because you remember the whole Colby thing when you
Yeah,
press charges.
Against
they had
the
to,
hospital, yeah.
Yeah, and they had to drop it so they could fight again because, the lawsuit. And you're like, you're probably not you're not from America, so you're not used to all this
Like
suing
lawsuits.
bullshit,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, when people sue each other in South Africa, but I mean, that's for like real stuff, not like a little
Fight.
scuffle. I mean, that's
This guy
come
was
on.
like, good on you, thanks. Let's go again.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
like
it
they'll
was-
sue you if something real, but like if you get a little
Yeah, I mean, if he hit me with a chair from behind or whatever, I mean, that is causes for some concern. But I mean, it was a
scratch
good,
is
good
scratch.
old fashioned scrap. I
Scrap,
mean,
yeah.
mutual combat.
yeah,
it
you
can't
both
be-
wanted it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But he was coming. He didn't realize he was coming over the chair to a boar. I mean, he was gonna catch an ass.
Absolutely. I mean, we're always ready for that. Always ready for that. But I mean, it was
South
great.
African boar, right
Yeah,
here.
man. We are both different.
Hey,
man.
though, we've been having a lot of discussion on our podcast about if jiu-jitsu works or not. And I love it because right here, you're like, I'm not going backwards.
Bro,
Because if you
100%.
land on the concrete, you could literally get hurt.
Yeah, and also, I mean, if he's on top, he's throwing, and I'm falling backwards, like, that looks like a loss in anybody's book.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I said, no.
Dude, and the fact that you can think about all that as it's going, for me, I'm just like,
I
Because
see
you have to
red.
think, if you think of the art of war, I just thought about it as you want the high ground. And
Yes.
unfortunately, Strickland
coming
was
over
on
the
top of a
top.
chair, and
Yeah.
I didn't have the high ground, so I had to make it even. Got him on his back, and that was
Dude,
the
but
high
do you
ground.
think? I mean, you guys are gonna fight in January, and you know what? Ramsey almost scrapped with Strickland one time backstage too.
Yeah, after he fought one of my friends and teammates,
yeah?
Court McGee, they had like a crazy fight, and it was technically it was a draw, and then later on they changed it for a win for Strickland. Court McGee, I don't know if you ever seen that one.
Is that the one we was talking to him the whole time?
Yeah. I mean, he was
Yeah, I
talking
think-
shit,
yeah.
and then like I was just in the back, like Court had to go to the hospital or something, and Strickland's ear was all. That's where his ear exploded. Was Court kicked it, and I'm just sitting there like eating, like how you do in the back, and he's like, if you want some, you can. And I was like sitting with like Uriah Faber, I was like, are you talking to me? Like I was like, what do you? I was like,
No, I do not want some. What are you talking
I
about?
was
I'm trying
like,
to eat my pretzel.
yeah, I was like, bro, I was
Come on,
eating
man.
ice cream. I was like, no, I think you got the wrong. I was like, you and Court just fought, bro. I was
You
like,
are, it's not me. I was just in the corner. You want the ice cream.
that was like, and he's like, you were coaching against me. And I was like,
Sorry.
I was
to do my
like,
job.
sorry, bro, sorry, I'm not fighting you for free.
Oh.
Like, I was the funniest. And then after that, though, I kind of liked him. Like, a lot of people would be like pissed. I was like, he is kind of an old school G. you know?
Listen. There's like people think like I remember last night when all the security was around us. He freaked out. He was like, ah. And obviously, he just chilled. We are fighters. That's the only way a sprinter knows he's faster than anybody else. He's going to pursue this is by beating people and running.
Yeah.
The only way we know that we fight better than everybody else is
Fighting.
we've been in brawls.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I mean, for me, I do this every day. This is my life.
It's a tune-up.
It's just not in the gym, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's what do you think's going to happen?
Well, it's
Exactly.
gotta
What
feel
do you
like
think's
comforting
gonna-
because you guys are fighting next month. You seem calm as hell. I mean, but you were in his head.
Yeah, bro,
You got- it's gotta
100%.
be
But
so
that's what
like-
I'm
it's gotta
saying.
be
Is
so
for
nice.
me, I was completely calm about it. I wasn't angry. I wasn't like, Immediately, I was having fun.
I mean, we
And,
could see you like smiling.
And the security was like, you need to chill out. I'm like, I'm as chill. I can't be more chill. What do you want from me? I don't know what you want
any
from
more
me.
chill. I'm like,
Do you want to carry me? To my seat? And but I mean, there's no hard feelings. I still have the world's respect for Sean Strickland.
Yeah.
No, he's a real man. I said it, and he showed that last night. I mean, he stood up for himself and he did what he. That's what a real man does.
Yeah.
He stood up for himself. Listen, did he behave like a champion? Probably not. But at the end of the day, champion or not, we are fighters. We are not football players.
Yeah.
We are not sprinters. We are fighters, and that's what we do. It's in our DNA.
we're not politicians.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. So, I mean, there's a situation where the talking's done, and that's what fighters is.
Yeah.
Fighting is you get politics, and then you get the fighters. If you look at a war, you have the politicians starting the war, and then you have the guys who go fight the war. And we are fighters. And, I mean,
What about
that's
like
what
that
happened.
Colby thing, because you're saying those are like two separate, when he's talking about Leon's dead dad and all that. And then later at the weigh-in, he's like, I was in character.
Yeah,
I was in
joking
character, and
Yeah, listen, I mean, there's obviously some sort of, I'm a very big, all is fair in love and war type of guy.
yeah.
So, I mean, but it is a very far line to cross, especially with the lack of hatred they have for each other.
Yeah.
There wasn't real there was animosity, but I'm not talking about, there wasn't the animosity he and Masvidal had for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
Even him and Usman, and now they've gained each other's respect, but there was animosity. Him and Leon, I felt, to go that far ever is really not a good thing, especially in that route. Like, I mean, going after somebody's father who died, it's
Out of pocket.
I don't think it belongs anywhere, to be honest. I mean, it's not.
thing is-
But did you see what Dana said?
The big thing is you can go and say, Dricus, well, you went after Sean Strickland because of his dad.
Yeah.
I did not do a single thing wrong because he
Introduced
introduced it. He talked about it, and everything I said was factual.
Yeah.
yeah.
His dad did beat the shit out of him, and I am going to beat the shit out
Yeah.
of him. So I mean, it wasn't
Worse though.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't the fact that I was making jokes about child abuse, anything. It's the facts of the
Facts.
matter
Hell yeah.
that did happen, and he introduced it to the world, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing is like, it's hard because when Dana said, the whole Leon thing, he goes, you could literally look at our pay-per-view sales went up 25% during the press conference right after he said, I'm going to put you in hell, whatever, about his
Your
dad.
dad, yeah.
So then you're like, Dana's like, well, yeah. And everyone asked him like, yeah, that line was crossed, but then the sales went up. So it's like, what's the real?
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, people going, yeah, the UFC wants this because it makes sales, it promotes about. Yeah, sure. But what I do like and respect about the UFC is they give you a mic
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
platform, and they go,
You do your thing.
you do you.
You do
I
you.
mean,
You
if you're not
bury
breaking
yourself.
the law, do whatever you want.
Either bury yourself or you build yourself.
Yes, exactly. So whatever you think is the right move, and you go there, you pick a persona if you want, you be yourself, whatever you want to do. Here's a mic. There are the people. Go at it. And that's something is very rare in sports, and that's what I love about the UFC.
Me too.
They don't try to censor us. A lot of people go, I have so many people ask me, was that staged last night? Like, was it staged?
No.
If I'm doing a staging and somebody's hitting me on the head like that, no way.
Yeah,
man.
like,
No,
This is
they don't.
WWE. I'm not gonna
they-
take.
like,
I'm not
then
gonna
I
take-
want two fight person.
yeah.
But
It
yeah,
would have
so
been
I mean,
a lot
it's
better
it's-
fight.
So with Colby, obviously Colby, anybody who's met him before, he has a persona,
Yeah.
and it's been working for him. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's a slippery slope.
Dude, I to be honest, I had 8 G's on Leon last night, so I was thrilled. But it was kind of hilarious at the end when he was like, you're all broke bitches anyway. Fuck you."
Yeah, that was like, I was
fucking
like, as he said, no, you think you want to fight? I'm like, Kobe, come on, guy.
Yeah.
Come on, guy. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
You're like one round if you're lucky, come on.
Yeah,
and
he
then he
won
went,
round
"Oh,
5, maybe."
You guys are broke bitches anyway. All right. I'm like, that's cool. Got to respect that. But, you know, and getting back to Sean Strickland, like, he's not, obviously he has some sort of a persona that he puts on, but mostly it's real. And, you know, I got to respect that. And, you know, last night he gained more respect from me than anything else, you know, to show that, listen, he is a fighter.
Yeah.
He's going to do it. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, he didn't fight because it was required. He fought because he was triggered. And that's me. That's a win.
And that's
a
beautiful.
win.
That's a win.
Because you're in his head now,
I'm
you
in his
know?
head.
And like I feel like some fighters do better when you keep them calm, you know what I mean? Like I felt like there's some like guys that you're like, as long as you, good respect, you don't talk shit. And they're like, they do worse, but some guys you got to get in their face, get them emotional.
And Jose Aldo taking
Yeah.
one from McGregor.
Jose Aldo's the greatest example, you know?
So this is what I ask all the guys though. You're spent your whole life fighting. I mean, your big base was judo, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I started with judo when I was 5, but my biggest base was K1 kickboxing.
Okay, so you've been fighting your whole life. Now you're in the lights, right? I mean, for most of your life, your whole mentality was, I just got to get better at fighting, get better at fighting. But now you have to do both. Now you have to be good at fighting as well as being a showman on the mic. Has that been a hard transition for you? Or do you feel like you're shining in the lights?
You know, the big thing is, and that's very true. People, you know, you get a lot of comments. People are like, these guys should just stop talking, they're talking in the cage. Well, no, I hear you. But I mean, then we would be doing amateur wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is where you get the WWE, which is 100% entertainment only.
Yeah.
No, it's a show. It's amazing. Those guys are
Predetermined.
super athletes, but it's predetermined. and it's
They
entertainment.
sacrifice for their bodies.
No, but listen, I mean, if you have a guy who's weighing, 230, 220 pounds,
Have you ever
and
seen that
he's
meme
doing a
of-
front flip off the cage, I'm like, wow, that is impressive.
They're impressive, yeah.
But, I mean, it's 100% predetermined. It's for
Predetermined,
entertainment.
yeah.
Then you have amateur wrestling, which is entertaining if you're a wrestling fan.
yeah.
But it's about the sport, 100%. It's pure athletics happening. And then you have that's what the UFC has created, and MMA. The fans are there to see the sport, but they're also there to be entertained.
Yep.
And you have to get that balance. And another thing is, you know, when I was fighting in South Africa in the UFC, it's an international organization, but started in South Africa. Obviously, I built the fan base. I was a double division champ, and then you come to the UFC, and it's a completely different fan base because now you have America. It's much bigger. Everything's bigger. More people, a bigger, different crowd.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what you do, you're gonna have people who love it, people who hate it.
Yeah.
And when you are coming from another country and fighting in the UFC, you better know you're gonna get booed.
Yeah.
Every single time. I mean, when I'm fighting an American fighter, of course, that's how it's gonna be up until you become a legend of the sport, or you build your name up to a level like Robert Whittaker.
Well,
Robert Whittaker. I mean,
yeah.
when I fought Robert Whittaker, people were booing me. I'm like, I would have probably booed
booed me too.
'Cause,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
Robert Whittaker. Everybody loves him. He's the nicest guy on
I
earth.
know.
and
I
he's
was
such-
kind of like, I was really sad when you.
a lot of people.
I mean, no offense, but
I
I was
wasn't
like, I
one
love
of the
Robert.
sad people, but
But it's only 2-3 fights away, though, right? Big examples. Izzy, it turned on him quick. Everybody hated Strickland. Then he beat Izzy. Everybody loves Strickland, right? It
Yeah.
turns so you're a champ. The first time you beat the champion, people don't like you. The first time you defend, everybody loves you every time.
Yeah, I
Look at
think-
Volk and Holloway. Everybody
yeah,
hated
exactly.
Volk.
But
True.
I mean, and Holloway is also one of those guys. But Volk, he proved himself, and that's like you said. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, is you got to respect the athlete. You got to respect the athlete. Look at Colby when he started with his persona. I was like, what is this guy doing?
It's crazy.
Like I'm like,
You Brazilians, you all stink.
I was like,
hate
hey,
you.
guy, you don't care. Like, I understand. Like, I don't care if people like me or dislike me. At the end of the day, you will respect me because I will go out there and show that I'm the best fighter in the world.
Yeah.
And that is what it's about. So you are going to have the fans that can't deny you as a fighter. But to go out the Colby route, I was like, bro, this is like you're putting all your chips on red,
Yeah.
man. You're putting all your chips on red.
Not just
And-
like his like retirement funds,
I'm
like
like,
everything,
my God, like
dude.
the whole, like you are really going for it. And then he fought amazingly. Like he made a fan out of me. I didn't like him. I thought he was boring.
Yeah.
And then that first Usman fight, I went,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Second one, I'm like, now you are, because it's almost like his persona lit a fire in him that now I have to go out
do
there
it.
and fight, because if people start booing, even if you're winning and you're not fighting entertaining, the people are gonna they're gonna boo you.
Me
and-
especially.
and-
I'm like, you suck.
Well, like even like the Pantoja fight when that was getting
Well,
the
let's
crowd turned on them. fast.
What I have to say, the crowd can be ruthless because from a fighter's perspective, especially in the first
First round.
the first 3 rounds were, to me, were amazing.
Yeah.
Especially that
Pantoja?
first round. Bro, he just goes.
No.
I was like, that guy
Yeah,
just went
so
like forward.
maybe first round, but after that, I was like, boring.
He's the most casual fan.
Oh,
you
so
could-
you're like, if you're
Yeah.
not standing and banging, I don't want it.
Bro, he literally is like, I could beat up these 20. And I'm like, no, you can't.
25ers, dude. I got
Bro, I got your
definitely-
ass kicked by a 135 amateur.
That was my
That-
second day ever, but now, dude, they're 25.
This is like his 17th
That's
day, bro.
another
He's
shit.
Bro,
shit.
we
Yeah,
train.
dude.
He literally can't make a 5-minute round through without quitting and just
But with
laying
those
there.
guys, I
like-
wouldn't have to. That's
But
one hit to the
let
shoulder.
me
It's
tell
Bryce
you.
Mitchell.
Look at his punch. Show us your punch again.
Bro, I like how you showed it like this.
Yeah, like all arms.
I
He's got
have to
Ronda
look
Rousey
at
level
this.
striking.
Obviously, I understand they got tired, all that, but that first round, I went, wow. But
Yeah.
Tojo looked amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, when I saw the first round, he fought like somebody who took a fight on short notice.
Yeah.
He just went in like, and it's great. It's great. But, you know, if that's the way you're going to fight, like, he's young in that title realm, I guess, in his career. So, I mean, I got to respect the guys, both of them. Royval, I thought the fight was going to finish a lot quicker than it did.
He was,
Yeah.
he was hunting him down.
Yeah, in that second round, I thought the fight's not going to the third.
Me either.
And then Royval just came and he caught him with that head kick. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I think shout out to Factory X, you know, his coach. Like, you could see Brandon from the first fight that they had
Yeah.
to that one. I was like, dang. I mean, like, yeah, he was outmatched. I think Pantoja's too strong, too
But
technical.
Pantoja is really, really good. I
Yeah.
really rate him. I think to beat Brandon Moreno, I'm a massive fan of Brandon Moreno. And I mean, that fight of theirs was
Amazing, yeah.
Well,
And I think Pantoja's probably the most underrated champ out there right now.
I have to say this. I shook Pantoja's hand yesterday. He did a power-up session at the PI while I was training. And I shook his hand. He's very small in comparison to me. And I shook his hand, and I'm like, okay, that's probably why the 125ers are struggling. Because
small.
when I gripped his hand, it's a small hand, but I could feel. It's like a little ball of power.
Yeah.
I could feel, and I was like, my man's strong.
Yeah, oh,
But
he
I
looks
was-
strong,
I
right?
was saying we could have actually saved some time, and when they started the 5th round, they could have just started in his guard.
Yeah, yeah,
Save
that's-
themselves some time. Because
But
I was going there anyway.
I was kind of nervous in that 5th round because
Yeah.
like Pantoja was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was gassed.
He was gassed to the max, and
That wrestling's tiring. I mean, you know. how
and
that is.
that last takedown he got on Brandon Royval was. If he didn't get that takedown, I think he was in big
Dude, I
trouble.
was
like that
too,
last,
yeah.
I was,
Oh,
when
did
he
it
was on the
purpose,
fence, and
'cause
I
he
said,
got hit. He was in
Yeah,
trouble.
remember Brandon came out that 5th round, was
Yeah.
peppering him, doing a really good job.
he threw that
keeping his range.
uppercut, he landed that
Oh
one
yeah, that
very
would've clean.
nicely.
And if they weren't 25 pounders, he might have
have
knocked
fought
him
him.
out.
Okay,
That's
so
the problem.
obviously I'm a casual fan, but I mean, to me, one of the hardest things was having, because I've been with the UFC since I really came into it like Brock Lesnar, Frank Mir, UFC 100, and then Anderson Chael was a big thing for me, and I've come the whole way since then. I'm a casual fan. One of the hard things for me was realizing that these heroes are like 155 pounds. And they're like, oh shit. You
I
know?
like how you talk about them like, listen, you're 155 pounds. There's no way you can beat them.
Yeah,
Bro,
he
a
doesn't-
155 will
know,
take your
maybe
soul,
one-
man.
Yeah, Mike Madison,
one-
Michael
one-
Chandler.
What do you think are your odds against Alexander Volkanovski?
The problem is I'm so much taller than him.
No
You know,
way.
just punch down on him.
Did you see
You know
that
what I mean?
punch? It's
But the thing too is I got such good head movement that it's crazy.
let's see it. Yeah, look at that head move.
No.
But you got
So
to
like
imagine.
all we do is I try to teach him basics, and he's like, "No, let's just spar." So he went to another gym,
I went
Mike
Mike
Perry's
Perry's
gym
coach.
in Florida. He's like traveling JT, and he's like, "Hey, can we spar?" And he's like watching. He's like, "What the fuck you doing sparring?" He's like,
No,
"You don't
you
even know."
Get to the bag. On the bag. What are you doing?
cones down and he's like, just step between these.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But to me, honestly, as a casual
I
fan,
don't like that gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "Not my gym. Yeah, I'm
They
a
want to teach me stuff. I'm here to fight.
yeah,
man.
yeah. I'm a
He
real
tried to-
fighter.
I
see
want a
red.
UFC.
He gave me a rope to jumping rope to warm up. I did for like 2 minutes. I was like, all right, bro. He's like, okay.
He knew where
Listen,
that was going.
I didn't get here to jump rope. I didn't don't come here to be the best at exercising.
Yeah. I'm here to be the best fighter. I only see red. What the fuck we training for, man?
As a casual fan, 170, 185, 205, those are the most, because they still got all the technique. I mean, big boys, they just kind of bang, except for John, maybe Stipe, right?
I mean, if you get, that's the new. If you look at Tom Aspinall,
Oh,
Oh, yeah, he's
filthy. Pavlovich.
I don't know if it was his debut. Was on the same card as me in Abu Dhabi. When it was my debut, and he was either his first fight or his second fight. Was in Abu Dhabi with me
on Fight Island.
on Fight Island.
Yeah.
It was October of 2020, and I saw him and I thought, he's big, but he's not that big. And then he grew into a heavyweight.
Yeah.
But I mean, the way that guy moves,
He moves
honestly,
good.
He's scary.
He's so good. And
He's so
the
scary.
crazy thing is that he's actually a jiu-jitsu fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see him on the ground, you don't. With heavyweights, I feel like if you can grapple as a heavyweight, I mean, there's a lot of heavyweights who got really, really far. They are really terrible. But just because they can really grapple or wrestle, they get really, really far.
like Roy Nelson.
Like Roy Nelson just has that overhand. I mean, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
But I mean, if you can.
But he could throw it because he's not scared of grappling.
To
You know what I
grapple,
mean?
exactly.
So, like,
but if you're like a
someone
really
takes-
good, if you go
Kimbo.
Verdum,
Verdum.
he was so good. He just beat. I mean, he beat Fedor. He beat a lot of big names because he was so good in grappling. And now you have a guy who looks like a striker when he moves, but when he has you on the ground, that's where he's most comfortable. I'm a very big fan of Tom.
What would you think, like Tom Aspinall, John Jones?
As I said his name, I was like, oh, you guys are gonna ask me that.
Yeah, you knew we were
to be
gonna
honest,
ask him.
did you see that when John called him out and he was just screwing around with him? Oh, I'm sorry, John.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
yeah, he's funny. Yeah,
Listen, this feels a lot like when everybody rooted against me for Rob Whittaker. I said I can't blame them. The only people that can root for me are the people that see me train every day, the people that know what I'm willing to do, my close family, friends, teammates, not even just friends, just teammates, family, the people who are involved in my training, the sacrifices I make, the people who live this with me every day. They know, and they can genuinely go, Dricus is going to beat the brakes of Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
Anybody else who says that either likes my face, likes me, like on what they see. They don't pick me because of fighting.
yeah.
Because it makes no sense. Nobody's ever beaten Whittaker except for the champ in
Yeah.
10 years. So I was one. I didn't keep any tabs on people who said I was going to lose because I would understand that. And that's the same with John Jones.
Yeah.
Now, up until somebody proves it, there's no way I believe he loses.
Yeah, that's how I am.
Because
You count.
you can't, like, even though I love Aspinall, and I think he is an exception. He's one of the best in my opinion. Like, he's a next step in evolution of fighter.
Yeah.
I can't go against John Jones ever because it's John Jones.
John Jones is great.
Generation.
Yeah,
Nobody beats him.
that's like literally what everyone's always like about that. I'm like, dude, it's just John Jones,
You
man.
can't. You can. I mean,
And like
you can,
the one person that can beat him is John Jones. He goes to jail and
he does that pretty well.
and he
But,
get on the
but
train.
still, I mean, look at John. He goes to jail. He goes off the rails, comes back, fights like
Yeah,
and-
never
and
left.
he's kind
and
of
it submits
Cyril Gahn in like
Cyril Gahn in
the
40
easiest
seconds.
ever.
Yeah.
and John has an advantage because he lives with his sparring partner.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just Steve Job.
You think it's crazy to put me and Sean Strickland one row from each other? I mean,
Yeah, they let him sit next to each other every fight. Yeah. I was like, what's going on?
Oh man.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of these fights from yesterday. How about that Bryce Mitchell Emmett KO? That was I legitimately said I thought he was dead. because
Dude,
he was convulsing.
literally, I've never seen that.
I spoke to my dad this morning. He was like, "Wow, that was crazy." And I said, "Dad, I understand that on TV. I watched it on TV afterwards. I watched the highlights. But I told him I was maybe 10 meters from that. I was cage side. It sounded. I thought there's no way he's getting up. I'm gonna get an ambulance, get a stretcher.
Yeah.
No, that guy's not waking up.
Bro, right?
Wow.
I thought because he was convulsing
The
too.
sound,
I'd
I've
seen
never
that.
heard that.
Convulsing is one thing. That's it happens to some guys, but the convulsing almost happened like a minute after he's been knocked
Yeah.
out. Like
Yeah.
he was just still for like almost a minute, and then
Convulsing. I thought he was
I
dead.
was like,
I thought he was
"Whoa."
dead, man.
And but I mean, Josh Emmett.
Oh,
So you
my-
think you can take that shot?
That busted.
Yeah,
well,
that's a 45er.
What, you think
Bro,
you can
that's a
take that shot and stay standing?
because first of all, that shot. Listen, that shot would have landed. That shot would have landed right here.
Yeah.
because he's like.
Bro, and then
he's
your
like
heart
five
would have
yards.
stopped.
Yeah, your heart
You
would have
break your
stopped.
chest with that shot. No, that was
that
wow.
shot would knock out
That was
anybody.
one of my parlays because he was so much older. Bryce took it on short notice.
Yeah.
I messed up my parlay too. That was the one that that was the only one.
Do you guys feel like, because you see it, I mean, you see Aspinall coming on short notice and piece up Sergey like he
Yeah, but
does-
Sergey was also on short notice.
Yeah.
Do you feel like short notice is big problems, or do you feel like too long of a camp gives you problems?
That depends on how good you manage your camp, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I've done like 12 hard weeks of camp. So obviously I'm always training. I'm training every day. It just depends on the intensity. It depends on, am I doing 3-4 sessions today? Am I doing 1, 2 in camp, out of camp? And intensity is a big part. And of course, if you're going for a party every now and again, or you're eating what you want, that's the difference between a camp, a structured camp, and not in camp. As a fighter, you don't have a fight camp and then you're doing nothing, just living your life. No, you train every day. This is your job. And I feel if you all of a sudden go for a 12, 14-week camp, just full speed, you're going to burn out. You know your body. I've tried that earlier in my career. I'm like, I'm just going to go for 12
Get
weeks.
hurt.
I mean, I was so overtrained in that fight. But then, I do 8 weeks of this is real. But when you can't start at 20% and try it in 8 weeks to get to 100. No, I start at 60, 70.
Yeah.
And I mean, 60,
Weight
70,
pretty
if you, my weight, I can make weight.
Yeah.
I made my debut on 10 days notice.
Yeah.
And
We walk around 210, about
when
205.
I walk around, no, 220.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Big old boy.
Yeah. I walk around heavy outside of camp, and that's pretty lean. I would say.
Yeah.
215 is where I'm. That's where I'm when I'm really in good shape, training hard.
Feel strong.
Yeah, I feel strong. That's and like it's not just big, but after a fight I go up to like 225. That first 2 weeks.
Yeah, relax.
But then 215 is a good weight. That's where I try to spend most of my camp.
Well, like I always felt like, for back to the camps, like now that I'm retired and I just train, and I train every day because it's fun, and I run a gym, and there's always times where I'm like, I could get back into this. I feel good because, like, when you're training out of camp, it's fun.
It's the weirdest thing. It's just you're feeling such
Yeah, and
that pressure.
And then when you're in camp, like, what's like that? That's why I was trying to explain, like, what's the biggest difference between? Because like I always look at it, I'm like, it's the diet, the intensity, but like there's a lot more.
I've had short notice fights where I really felt the best ever, because you're almost going in there. You didn't have enough time to build this up in your head, like my debut.
Yeah.
With my debut, I've been working. I said that was the most underprepared I ever went into a fight in my whole life.
Yeah.
I've never been underprepared. I've never had a camp. You get guys like this camp. I didn't train as hard. Like I've never had that.
Like unmotivated.
Unmotivated. You get that every now and again. Guys have a fight where they're like, okay, this camp I really screwed it up. I screwed around. I've never had that. Never ever. Every camp I try and I go smarter, better, harder, be better than the previous fight every time. And with my debut, we were in a hard lockdown in South Africa. I'm talking about not allowed to go
COVID
to a
was
store, not allowed,
yeah?
only at certain times. You're not allowed to be on the road without like
COVID was bad.
essential service permit. Like I was in my house. I moved a lot of the gym equipment to my house, in my garage. Cameron Simon, also a fellow UFC fighter from South Africa.
Yeah.
He moved in with me for those 6 weeks. For 6 weeks.
Oh, cool.
Moved into my house. We had a couple of mats in the garage, and we basically just trained and partied. I mean, that's literally what we did. I had a couple of my brother also. He fought professionally too. So we were there in the house. We were like a couple of my teammates, my brother, and we weren't preparing for any fights because we knew for the next couple of months there's not going to be any fight. So every day we'd wake up and train. It's like super hard. We do 3 sessions in a day, like
Just for
really
fun,
train,
right?
Like train and
Well, he
get
was training
better.
for his debut.
No,
but
no,
we didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't
yeah.
know.
I was coming.
And that's what we're saying, like
at that
training.
stage, what happened was I was EFC welterweight champion, middleweight champion, and KSW welterweight champion. Then not KSW welterweight, and I relinquished the 170 belt after defending it, and only had the 185 belt in the UFC. And what I said was, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up to 205 and get 3 belts. And just all of this was just, how do I get the attention of the UFC? I was on an 11-fight win streak with 3 different organizational titles.
Yeah.
And 2 weight divisions. I'm like, what do I have to do?
No,
Come
yeah.
on, guys. give me a shot.
Like, who'd have to beat? Come on.
Yeah. And I said, cool, I'm going to get a 3rd weight division belt. That's something that's not a lot of people have done. That's what I'm going for. And so I trained for that, but I mean, I don't have to diet. I can fight at 205. But this wasn't going to happen it was probably going to be another 4 months before that happened, maybe
Yeah.
5. We don't know about. We are in lockdown for 2 months.
And you're not having any local.
Yeah,
There's no
there's
local
no
fight.
fights happening. So, and I mean, this was in the EFC. So, I mean, it would be local, but right now they said no sports for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
So we're like, cool, training
Chilling,
super hard, but after training at like 1 p.m., we did 3 sessions for the day. We would just start partying at the house. What else do you do?
Yeah.
And every day, but we trained super hard. And then the phone call comes. My agent phones. He says, "Listen, how's your weight?"
Oh shit!
And I'm like, "My weight's great. What do you mean?" I mean, I'm training for a fight that's in a higher weight class. I don't even know what my weight is.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, my weight's great. Why do you ask?" He said, "Will you be able to make weight in 10 days?" I said, "Of course."
Yeah.
I'm like,
205.
Wait,
Easy.
yeah, after 205, yeah, let me bang, bro.
Yeah, let me bang,
And he said, okay. Like UFC phone, there was somebody pulled out. Will you be? I went, what? So I got the call 10 days from a fight. Like, definitely, I'm not prepared for a fight at all. I'm heavy. I was
Too
close
much
to
quota.
I was probably like 218, 220 at that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, more like between 215 and 220 if I had to guess.
It's like a 30, 40 pound.
And I go, okay, let's go. I said, I'm 100% ready. He says, okay, so what we're going to do now, we don't know yet. There's a couple of guys they want to go with maybe, but it's in Abu Dhabi Fight Island. Like, I go, what? I just got the call. Everybody's like, yes. And I'm just like, let's start training some more. And we just go.
Went and threw up your lunch from that
I'm like,
You're like, get out of me.
and we start training, and I phoned my coach. He didn't answer at the time. I'm like, what's going on? We just trained the next day. I phoned my coach. I'm like, Coach, you got a call from the UFC. We're going to fight. We don't know 100% yet, but it's like 99% there in Abu Dhabi. He goes, when? I said, next week, Thursday. He goes, okay, great. Who are we fighting? I go, I never asked the question. I'm like, oh shit, I'm putting my agent the next day. I'm like, hey man, who are we fighting for? Like, I'm just starting training. I don't even know who the guy is. And mentally, I went, this is the biggest moment of my career. This is finally the call, but I don't have time to process this right now. Because how I always imagine is the UFC phones you, they're like, in 8 weeks, you have a fight.
Yeah.
It didn't go down like that. I'm like,
they're
I'm
like,
like,
they
I'm
send
out
some
of
to
shape.
Yeah, but it's
I'm
like, it's like Tom Brady, dude. He gets the last second call and you capitalize it. And look at you now.
Bro, what I said to myself, I went, you can't celebrate signing with the UFC right now.
Yeah.
You can't even celebrate and take any of this in. We will process this whole thing after the fight. You can't even think about getting mentally ready for this fight. You need just to go out and do it. It was almost like the fight last night.
Yeah.
And there's no getting ready for that. You just go.
Yeah.
Just do it.
And I said, cool, head down, do what you got to do, make the weight, get in there. And I thought, I'm super underprepared for this fight. The biggest fight of my whole career, the most important fight of my whole career, and I am the least prepared I've ever been. And I just said to myself, my God, yeah, you're underprepared for this specific fight, but you've been training for this moment for 10 years. You've been preparing for this exact moment.
Visualizing it.
And this is it. I mean, how many more, what more do you need?
Yeah.
How long do you want?
Yeah.
This is your moment. There's no, and I said, let's go. And the thing is that they give me a guy that's never, I think he had like 8 or 9 UFC fights.
Yeah.
He's never been finished.
Yeah.
I've never been finished. And all my fights have been finished. I've never been far.
Submissions too,
No,
by the
none
way.
of my fights went past the 3rd round, even though I had a lot of 5-rounders. I go, this is interesting. So I'm going out there. I've only finished my opponents. I'm fighting a guy who's never been finished, so he's going to be hard to finish. He has to be. And I don't have the gas to go 3 rounds. There's no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And I said,
Gotta do it
let's
early.
come out. I spent the first 2 minutes figuring out, like a deer in headlights. This guy just comes at me. I mean, it was Marcus Perez. He just comes at me.
Yeah.
Because he's usually a laid-back guy when he fights, clinches it up. And he obviously, his coaches told him, this guy got a short notice.
Short notice,
Push the
yeah.
tempo. He's nervous. He's in the UFC for the first time.
Yeah.
There's going to be
Lights are
nerves.
bright.
Lights bright. And he just came in. I'm talking about my game plan is I'm taking the middle. I'm going over the advantage line.
Yeah.
It was almost like when that ref said fight, he knew like 2 seconds before because I could still almost feel the cage on my back, and he was here. And I was like, shit. I was just there. I'm like, well, first part of the game plan didn't go as planned. And he just stayed on me and did great with the pressure through. And he kicked me to the body. I was like, okay. That was a pretty good, because he was a southpaw. It was a pretty good kick. And the second kick he threw, it was the first time I was ever took a body shot in a fight where I went like, ow. I don't want to take anyone like that. And I was like, this is obviously a game plan. They've been working, because I was blocking the kick perfectly. I knew he was going to throw the kick. I saw the kick come and I went like this. And he found a way and he got it like right under and he got me right here.
Oh, on the liver.
And I just went, I can't be taking too many more. Like right now.
You're like, I don't have the gas already.
I'm like, this is terrible.
The thing is, if I had been there in your corner, I would have said, hey, man, move to the side a little bit.
Move, punch him.
Move. Like Goggins last night. Move.
Get up. And I was moving, and it was almost like I tried to get off the cage, but he knew he had me under pressure.
Yeah.
So it was one, go, go, go. And then when I started seeing his timing, I got the timing about 2 minutes in, and I started landing my own combos, getting more calm.
Yeah.
As soon as I started landing, I felt, okay, great. And I started landing my low kicks, and I saw he switched the stage, switched back, and I could see his legs were a little bit wobbly. And that's when the momentum shifted halfway through the round forward. And I mean, the pace was just like, and I said, listen,
But he
I have
probably blew his load
max,
early.
I have 2 rounds in me.
Yeah.
And I just went at it. And I mean, I think it was like 3.5 minutes into the fight.
Yeah.
First round, and I caught
Sexy,
him.
dude.
Boom. And that feeling.
When you finish him,
That's like an opportunity of a lifetime.
Oh,
To
yeah.
the lifetime of the opportunity, you took it, right? What are you
And
gonna say,
then,
no?
I mean, the crazy thing was we're in Abu Dhabi, and we're fighting in, I'm guessing pay-per-view time. Well, it wasn't pay-per-view event, but fighting in
like
US
2 in
time.
the afternoon,
Yeah.
I fought 5 a.m. in the morning.
No.
That's wild. Yeah.
Fighting 5
That's
6
wild.
a.m.
Yeah.
I was sitting at the table with the champagne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 6 a.m.
Oh, cool.
I was
What?
back in my hotel and thinking.
It
I
was
woke
wild.
up, I was sleeping. 2 a.m. I woke up to be at the stadium at 5.
Did you
How crazy is that to go and fight at
Unbelievable.
5 a.m.?
did you change your sleeping patterns while you were
You
there?
only had 10
Well,
days.
I only had
dude.
10 days. So I mean,
no, like in
and
Dubai,
No,
'cause
what happened
when
was.
Corey went to Dubai, like everyone would go to bed at like 2 p.m. and wake up.
Yeah, so what was great, what helped was that I didn't have to adjust to time zones. Because
South Africa's on basically the same time zone.
Yeah, it's a 1 hour time
Yeah.
difference. So that helped. I can assume if I had 10 days to come from the States, it would be crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so immediately when we got there, and the crazy thing was the first 2 days, you're in quarantine.
Yeah.
Yo,
First 48 hours,
yeah,
like,
that was
we were
wild.
just in a room. We had as big as this table mat to be able to train.
And I tell
I only had
everybody-
10 days. I'm just doing like knee ups in the
Yeah,
room. I'm like, I need to get
me
fit,
and Corey
guys.
trying to figure
Yeah.
out what workouts to do in there, and then everyone like sees the outside. But one thing about Abu Dhabi is like it looks beautiful and like those Middle Eastern countries make, but in the actual shit is not high quality. Everything comes from China, so like their
Listen,
beds are
we
uncom-
lived in that W hotel. It was one of the nicest hotels I've ever seen in my life. It was really cool, but we couldn't go anywhere. It
Yeah.
was literally the hotel and the arena. But
But
so,
then you're in the hotel room and all the things are glass.
Yes.
And you have to live in there for 2 days. Me and Corey are like, all right, I'm gonna take a shit. Go out in the like on the porch, and then
you're like, it's 500 degrees outside.
outside, and then really take a shit, because you're in quarantine.
But I mean, it was crazy. I mean, the circumstances weren't perfect, but that was another victory. So after that, like I said, I was fighting at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I just won my
champagne.
UFC debut in first round, and we get to the hotel, go for breakfast at 6 a.m. And I go, oh, I just want to fight. You guys have mimosa? And they said, yeah. I'm like, let's get them going.
Yeah.
Guys. I was in bed by like 2 p.m. I was like,
It must
So
have been
tired.
It was life changing. We're getting closer. So I want to talk about Tony, and then we'll talk about one other thing. But that Tony, it's time for Tony to hang it up. Yes or no? Because I would have put the house on Patty.
Yeah.
It was, and
Listen, I like Paddy. It's great what he's doing. I think he has his thing going, and he impressed me last night. Like his body looked in better shape than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Paddy, he looked good.
Yeah.
And
I think though it's unimpressive to finish not to finish Tony.
I couldn't believe it. Like after that first, he should have finished him. He should have finished him.
I think that derailed Patty's hype train.
He didn't even. Tony.
I think Jared Gordon did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jared. But I think these back to back.
But yeah, I mean
because Jared Gordon's
he
like in his
obviously
prime.
obviously destroyed Tony. But you know,
He looks
it's
so
sad.
sad to
Tony
be
Ferguson.
eaten.
I understand what he's going for. I honestly like nothing against Patty. Like whoever he fought, I would have liked him to win.
Yeah.
So he can just go, tick the box. He has the gloves. I'm done.
Yeah.
Because
But you don't know. He might be one of those guys like, I still got it.
Like,
I still
you know,
got it.
remember Bigfoot Silva? You know, he still fights boxing. Been knocked out 10 times in a row. His last knockout, he was out cold for like 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden you see some bare knuckle boxing in Russia. And you're
Next
like,
week.
yeah, literally, dude. And you're just like,
so I've been telling Ramsey, maybe you could help him because I think Ramsey's kind of being a pussy. Tony and Ramsey, they fought for the Ultimate Fighter finale. That's what got Tony into the UFC. I said perfect go out fight for Tony would be to fight Ramsey, same person who went in with him, went out with him, and he would definitely beat Ramsey's ass.
Oh my
so it'd
gosh,
be a
yeah.
perfect end to the saga. But Ramsey doesn't want to do it.
Well, I mean, if you can book that fight in the next 2 weeks, I think you have a really
yeah, really good chance. I'll book it right now, dude. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, Tony is an absolute legend. And like I said,
I want to see him
for
win. and
Patty,
take
I
the
didn't
gloves
wish
off.
Patty lost. I didn't think, I wish Patty loses this fight.
Yeah.
I just wanted a win for Tony. But the one thing is, that is a perfect world, and this sport does not work that way.
Yeah.
It's the most unforgiving
The young
sport
eat the
in
old.
the world. You know, you can give a guy the exit you want. You can give a guy a Frankie Edgar. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
You know, Frankie Edgar, it was almost time to hang it up.
Habib on
And
Habib.
you go and you give a guy one last shot, and you give him the courtesy he deserves for being an absolute legend. Like, I'm a massive fan. He goes out first round, flying knee, knockout. And I mean, that's the name of the game.
I don't think you should have a retirement fight. You know, it's like if you're
But I
in that
understand it.
head,
I think you shouldn't, but how do you
wanna go
tell?
out on
Like,
your
I
shit,
go,
you wanna go out a winner.
you want to go, and we are fighters, man. That's the thing. How do you say, no, I'm done. I don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah.
That's all we know.
I know it was
That's
the
all we
hardest
know.
decision when I decided to
I can
quit
only
fighting. I'm like,
imagine.
what am I gonna do now
When
with
somebody
my time?
just talks about it, I go, ugh.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't talk to me about it.
I don't want
Don't talk about it. I
I'll
will
face
bring it
that
up.
bridge. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. It's a really hard thing. No matter, and we see that with Conor. Conor came into the UFC, and just for the record, I'm a massive fan.
Me too.
Me too.
Purely because people don't realize how that man changed
Change the sport.
Sport, yeah.
and sports in general. That man is an international icon. Yeah, you can go with some of the decisions. I don't really care. I'm a fighter, and he did that great.
Yeah, whatever.
And
He-
he
I
did-
mean, he slept Jose Aldo. I mean, that's
I mean,
everyone like.
before you know everything of the Floyd Mayweather and all that stuff, he was on the craziest run in the history.
Yeah.
It was insane, and how easy he made it look.
The first true double champ.
And I mean, if you look at his fight when he fought Eddie Alvarez,
Yeah.
bro, that was nobody in the world would touch him.
Yeah.
When he was in that shape. But that being said, he always said when he came in, listen, I don't want to be fighting when I'm 35.
Yeah.
I'm in here to get as much money as possible, get filthy rich. Then I want to get fat, retire. You know, he said by 35, I don't want to be fighting. Do you think Conor needs to fight? No. His
you don't wanna give it
kids are
apart.
set for life. What happened was he had the Floyd fight, and then he reached what you can really reach in the sport.
Yeah.
The
Zen-
double champ. He was, Hall of Fame right there, changed the game.
Highest paid.
Highest
everything.
paid, and then, he had some fights. The Floyd fight getting $100 million one night.
Yeah.
The whiskey, everything. His goal was to be filthy rich and from the sport, and he reached that goal very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, great for him. He became the highest paid athlete in a matter of 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Great for him. That was his goal. But then you have to realize that to do what he's done, you have to have that warrior in you, and he does. Even though he thought that wasn't what is motivated him. He didn't want to be poor. He wanted to be filthy rich. He wanted to give his family everything. And once that was fulfilled, that he checked that box, he realized, I really love this.
Still want it.
That's why he's at 35
And
years
that's
old,
why-
and
that's
he's
why-
still
that's
fighting.
why he made it
He
to
doesn't have to come back.
Yeah.
People go, yeah, you should just hang it up. I'm like, do you know the level of respect I have for him for still wanting it, for still, and not just saying I want it, actually training, going and not, listen, Conor can fight whoever he wants, but he's not calling for anybody else. He's calling for Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler is an absolute animal. I've trained with that guy.
For legacy.
So that shows you it wasn't about the money. He thought it was, but it wasn't. He has that in him.
It's just, and you'll never get it out. Like
can.
even like I'm retired and I'm always like last night.
Well, that's when you go to
like,
bare
jaws
knuckle. That's when you
clenching, I'm
go to
watching
bare
the
knuckle, right?
Yeah, no. I watched that one live and I was like, oh, that was fucking brutal. No wrestling.
I'll
no
make sure I'm married before going to bare knuckle.
Yeah.
I mean, just like.
They were like, they were
let's say-
talking to me about it, and I was like, I don't know. But then we watched it live, and like, what'd you think, Ramsey? I'm like, I think my number tripled.
Nah, I'm not doing that.
Let's say you didn't have to make weight though. How many days notice do you need for Tony? Tonight.
Tony? Yeah.
You.
Me to fight Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, you don't have to make weight.
Bruh.
That's called
That's not-
elderly abuse.
Yeah, man,
at
that's
this
not
point.
fair. I mean, I guess there's a number on it, but
an hour.
Yeah, it would be another Bryce Mitchell, man.
man,
You know, and that's like, bro, this sport is ruthless because Bryce Mitchell, we all just watched him almost die in the cage. And if you go onto the Twitter forum, people are
He's
just
like, I guess it's not
going
flat earth
hard
now.
on him. Yeah.
MMA fans are the
worst.
Bro, last night I'm like,
You're all sick fucks.
last night I was sitting in the crowd and I just go, these crowds ain't loyal. man.
Animals, bro.
These crowds ain't loyal.
even
You see Colby walking out, people are going, yes, after the first round. Boo. I'm like, come on, guys, poor guy. Like, you know, people were cheering for him.
I
and then
used to be like that. I'd be like, these goddamn fans have no respect for this. But now I'm one of them. I'm like, boo this man.
No, I'd never take that person. You know, the fans are incredible because, you know, whether they boo or whether they you know, whether they're cheering for you, whether they're booing,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, without them, we don't have a job.
No, and it's
So,
just
I mean, if
fun.
they're booing, I'm just always like, just make some noise. I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
For me, I'm the same way at a UFC fight as I am at the blackjack table.
Yeah.
If you're winning, I love you. But if you're losing, F you, I hate you.
Yeah, dude, that's how I've become now. I was like all about respect and everything. Now I'm completely about
Bastard.
just
Yeah.
I'm just degenerate.
Just bleed.
Yeah, well, I actually though wanted to ask the most random question though. So, you know, not being from America and you see this whole Trump walk out with the music
That's
crowd.
amazing.
What is
Love
that
it,
too?
dude.
Yeah,
It'd be like, they don't do
Massive.
that with-
I'm such a massive Trump fan.
Yeah.
really.
I'm much more in tune, and I watched the with the polls in the last election. I was watching live.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, guys.
So American
what's happening?
politics is like kind of.
You know, I'm really into it. In South African politics, you know what's going to happen.
Jacob Zuma. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you're going to do. I mean,
The same people.
South
over
African
there.
politics is,
ANC, it's-
you know,
yeah.
it's the most corrupt thing in the world.
Big time.
Really? Huh.
So I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't even get into that.
So to you, American politics aren't corrupt?
No, well, no, listen.
yeah,
I mean, it is. I mean, I don't know, but I can guarantee you, South African politics.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
You know how
man.
many speeding tickets I got out of for $5 just
Really?
given to the cop? It was crazy.
Wait, you pay $5?
Yeah,
Are you
it was
insane?
too much.
You're getting rid
The rich people, rich people.
Okay, one question, and we'll go out on this one, but one question I want to ask is, you're fighting at 185. Were you don't showboat here. Ramsey, he says he could beat literally anybody. He said he's stepping with John Jones right now.
I did not.
yeah,
That
but
was the one I
what-
said.
Just
no.
not Tony.
Yeah.
What's your
Just not Tony.
what's your position on Poton
I'm
leaving the
sweating.
division? Were you happy he left the division? Because he's an animal.
Yeah, I mean, he's really big for the weight, but no.
You think you would have whooped his ass at 185?
100%. I mean, it's. I'm not scared of any man.
Yeah.
There's
Love
not
it.
a man.
Thank you. Can you tell? I've been trying to tell.
Listen, I know I beat Israel Adesanya.
Big time.
Israel Adesanya beat him. That means I can beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Izzy was skinny.
And,
You're a
I
big
mean,
dude.
And you're grappling?
I can. That's the thing. I'm a complete mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
What? This being said, I have the world's respect for Alex Pereira. Wow.
Yeah.
He's a scary guy. Firstly, what he has done in such a short period of time.
The Strickland, I was there that night.
I mean, and you know, everybody was like, yeah, the UFC is bullying me because he's the guy who beat Easy, and I was on that train too. Obviously, they need something for Easy because he ran through the division. And watching his first fight, I'm like, yeah, but who did he fight? That guy? I don't know. Second fight, I'm like, yeah. And then when he came to Strickland, I just went, oh, not convinced.
Yeah.
Because why? He just didn't. It was basically a
Oh,
kickboxing
he
fight.
put
Yeah.
Strickland to sleep.
Yeah, but then I mean to go out there and taking Izzy down with so many people struggle to take him down.
Yeah.
I mean Whittaker couldn't take Izzy down. He took him down once, twice, but he just got back up. He took Izzy down,
Yeah.
and you know, that was incredible. The grappling exchange between the two were really funny. But
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he
It was really funny.
then going out there and becoming the light heavyweight champion the way he did against a complete martial artist like Yuri Prochazka, which I have the world's respect for. He is, oh man, I love that guy. I love his mindset, and he goes out there and he does great. I admire that. He's one of the greatest combat sports athletes in the history of the world. To me, Alex Pereira, I have the world's respect for him, but put me in a cage with him, it's a different story.
Well, what about like change, like, because we're talking about the Strickland fight, you and with your game plan is obviously like taking Strickland maybe down. I don't want you to expose any game plan, but
Like I said, he had the high ground. I had to get him down, man.
yeah, and like, are you worried about his black belt at all, or like?
Oh, he has a black belt?
I think Sean Strickland's.
No, but that was just like.
Well,
a
doesn't
belt
Whittaker
for
have a black belt?
Yeah.
Yeah, knocked him out.
All right.
So what are you gonna do to the Sean Strickland then? January 4th.
Listen, man, I'm willing to
UFC
go.
297.
Yeah. It's January 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm willing to go and say, listen, Strickland, where do you want this fight to happen? Let's do it.
Yeah.
No,
Hell yeah.
You want to stand? Cool. That's what we do.
Of course he's gonna want to stand
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I mean-
I say send him a message, bro. We'll clip it right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stand, let's say, what are we going to do in this fight? I mean, at the end of the day, we are mixed martial artists. Like you saw last night, you got that jump shot. At the end of the day, if I put you on your back, you're done. But
So Dricus, tell us, if you stand and bang with Strickland, you're the upper man that night.
100%, of course. I mean, I stood toe-to-toe with Robert Whittaker.
Yeah. Bobby
Do you think Robert Whittaker beats Strickland? In honest
Ooh,
opinion?
I don't know though. After Strickland,
Yeah,
is
you know why you don't know?
Why?
It's because after I fought Robert Whittaker, now everybody's changed.
Like, oh,
Nobody
that's it.
called out Whittaker. Who called out Whittaker?
Yeah, that's
Nobody.
true. No one
because
wanted that
he beat
fight.
he beat the brakes of Marvin Vittori. He beat the brakes of Cannonier. He made it look easy.
easy.
Nobody wanted a piece of Whittaker. Why do you think the UFC always win? Fight for the title. After the title loss against Izzy, now you fight Whittaker.
Yeah.
And Whittaker didn't lose to anybody because they knew anybody who fights Whittaker is going to lose, so they're never going to have another contender.
Yep.
That's why. Then they promised Whittaker a fight. They were like, cool, let's give this to Dricus so we get him out of the picture maybe. Or if it's sink or swim, but, it's Robert Whittaker.
Dude, I'm convinced. Dricus is the truth.
And I was the only contender they gave to Whittaker first before the title.
Yep.
And I went in there and I proved that I belong.
And a lot of people are like, what
I
are they
proved
doing?
I'm the number one contender. Nobody else ever calls out Robert Whittaker. They phoned me. I said, Whittaker, okay, cool. I wish it was a title fight, but cool. It's Whittaker. I'm going to fight him eventually and anyway, so might as well go out there and do it now because I believe I'm the best in the world. And before that, if I ask you that exact same question before I beat Whittaker, there's not a person who would say Strickland beats Whittaker.
Yeah.
Period. Dude, hell yeah. You're going to whoop his ass.
Bro, I'm
Dude,
excited. I actually
sorry.
really
I'm
enjoyed
putting the house on Dricus.
Yeah, me too, bro. We're betting big on you.
Okay, guys, with that, thanks again for coming to Coach the Casual. It was an incredible weekend. We've had a lot of fun. Watch Dricus whoop some ass at 297. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, dude.
Thanks for tuning into the Coach and the Casual. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and share it with your friends. Thanks again.